Hello everyone and welcome back to another Batman miniature game 3rd edition battle report on a new table layout using some new scenery I recently acquired for the studio as well, which looks great. I can say that because I didn't do it. Anyway, today for you we have a 350 rep match of Soldiers of Fortune versus Batman. So they'll be the first ones to get to try out this layout that we'll probably use for the next couple of reports. But without further ado, let's take a look at the teams so that we can get started. So here is the Soldiers of Fortune list. It's an Arkham Knight themed list being led by the man himself with a plethora of upgrades. His cybernetic arms to give him reinforced gloves, his improved hook pistol so he can use it as a weapon, his grapple gun, and also extra ammunition as well. His sidekick is Scarecrow, usually a leader, but with Arkham Knight he can be a sidekick, or rather in Soldiers of Fortune he can. We have Dreadnought Op over there, we have Infiltrate Op, because she's amazing. The medic, the lieutenant in the back there who's been given a camel cloak, and then I think he's just Militia Soldier 2 with the shield, and he has a radio and a backpack. And here is the Batman crew being led by Gotham by Gaslight Batman with the upgraded Batsuit for +1 HP. His butler has come along, Alfred is here, who also has a radio, and then Damian Wayne is here as well, and he has handcuffs, because he's allowed one bit of war gear for lack of a better term, equipment I guess. The new Catwoman is joining because she can be in Batman crew, so she'll be putting down cat markers instead of suspect markers. And then the usual trio from the Back to Gotham box, just because they're all so good. So we have we have Merkel at the back there, of course, to hopefully live for a change. Merkel has patrol training, so he has undercover. And then we have Bullock and the GCPD detective. Both of them have extra ammo, and the GCPD detective also has a radio. I think Bullock might have a radio as well. I feel like I'm forgetting to mention something. But if I have, and it comes up in gameplay, we'll mention it again then. So here we are at deployment. The Soldiers of Fortune are taking first activation and have also deployed to screen right. The Batman crew is on the left, although there is a lot of out of deployment movement because of hidden and undercover. So we can take a look at that, starting with the Soldiers of Fortune lineup. So the medic and the lieutenant are there. Arkham Knight with the Dastey up there. Scarecrow has undercover, so he has just moved up to that wall there. He has a Dastey. Dreadnought Op has a Dastey. Shield Op there without. And then Infiltrate Op has hidden and has gone up there with Audacity as well, giving her a nice line of sight on the map. Batman crew, Demon's down there with Audacity, Batman's in there with Audacity, GCP Detective has hidden but couldn't really go many safe places, so he's settled for just outside of deployment there. Alfred is there, Catwoman is there with Audacity, and then we have Merkel and Bullock has Audacity as well, and he has hidden and he has undercover, which put them both roughly there. So with that, we are ready to jump into Battle Round 1, Soldiers of Fortune, first activation. No Phase 1 or Phase 2 cards being played by either side. So Militia Soldier 2 with a shield got the game started. No Audacity, but a radio, but he was also actually within Inspire range of the Arkham Knight over there. Anyway, he moved up against the wall there, and using that free Inspired Manipulate, put down a suspect marker on the other side of, I don't know if this is really meant to be a bike shed or a storage area, but whatever. We are also counting that this wall is scalable, incidentally, just because it would be otherwise unfair, because there's only one door over there. Oh, and I forgot to mention, both sides have the same number of models, so no passes either. Alfred Pennyworth got the game started for the Batman crew. No Audacity, but right next to Master Wayne, and also had a radio anyway. He moved up and then put down a suspect marker, which has become a turn 1 snitch. Always a very powerful card to get early, because it's very unlikely that any enemy models can get near it. Closest way they can get is that Sewer Grating still wouldn't put them within 4, and also obviously would surround them with a world of hurt. So very, very unlikely, I think, even if Arkham Knight went full suicide mode and grapple gunned over here, that's not going to score. The Militia Medic activated next, who was down there next to the Lieutenant and within Inspire range, moved up behind Scarecrow, used that free Inspire to put down a suspect marker. Independent of him doing that during his turn, Cyber Attack was played. There is only one enemy suspect marker, it's the Snitch. It still counts as a suspect marker as per the Snitch description. It can't be revealed or removed. A 1 got rolled, so it has a 3 placed on it. It literally can't, this can't be removed because the Snitch can't be removed, as long as the Soldiers of Fortune deliberately don't go near it to stop the Snitch scoring. Now it does mean that the Snitch scores for 3 and this scores for 2, but it does force the Batman crew to only get 1 point up rather than 3. So it seemed like the play. So that is in play. It's scoring in 3 activations time. I don't think anything can stop that. Officer Merkel activated and simply moved up for his turn. He is obviously illuminated because he's right next to the light, but he does have cover from the boot of that car there, such that if Infiltrate Op did decide to fire at him, he would have cover for sure. And from the current angle that the Arkham Knight is standing at, it would also provide cover for that too. And that would also be a range issue as well. He does have a scope, but his gun is medium range. So, as safe as Merkel can get, him moving over there is for future plots. But it does put him in a spot of bother. But hey, he had to listen to what Bullock told him to do. Bit of a gutsy play next for the Soldiers of Fortune. Scarecrow activated, only 8 inches of movement, but more than enough to peel round the corner here to get him within 4 of the JCPD detective. He used Inspire Fear, and he actually did use the, what's it called, the Fear Master, which turns it into a 4-inch gasp, although it still only affects people we can see. So it was still only with the detective, but it does extra effects. Incidentally, in the Batman app, it has cleared up the language about how Fear Master works with Inspire Fear, although if you stop to think about it for 5 seconds, it's very obvious what it meant. Instead of Terror 1, it does Terror 2, instead of Slow 2, it does Slow 4. It doesn't apply both, that's ridiculous. So anyway, he did that, and the JCPD detective failed his fear test by 3, so he is scared. He would have Terror 1, Slow 2, but as previously stated, because the Fear Master was used, it's Terror 2, Slow 4. Take your pick from those effects. It scores I'm Feeling Weird for 2 victory points for Scarecrow. It does put him dangerously close to Batman and Robin, but that might also expose them into coming out into the open with the Arkham Knight over there. So it was Detective Bullock that activated next, and he was pretty gutsy as well, and I'm not just trying to make a subtle fat joke. He pulled round the corner here into base to base with the suspect marker that had been placed by the militiaman he's now right in front of. He revealed it and also made use of evidence tampering to put a friendly suspect marker in contact with it first. And this is the reason he sent Merkel away. It meets the criteria for his unique card. Wrong place, kid. Revealing enemy suspect marker at least 6 inches away from any model with the cop trait, except for the one who's actually doing the reveal, which is Bullock himself. So that did actually score for a massive 3 points. Puts him in the firing line quite literally, but 3 points is hard to resist, and it might also mean that no one gets in position to help Scarecrow over here. Incidentally, worth mentioning, the JCB detective won't be getting a turn. He'll have to activate at some point, probably last, but because of Terror 2, for each level of Terror you lose an activation action, and he has no Audacity, so he technically has 1. He technically has a free Inspire, Batman stays there, but presumably it also steals that as well, so he can't do anything. And with Bullock finishing his activation, Cyber Attack also scores. So the plan was a bullet for Bullock. The Arkham Knight activated, and his scoped rifle has aim on it, so he can't really move before or after firing. And he wanted to shoot Bullock. He shot at him. That's the roll. That's literally the roll right there. No rerolls either, so he just whiffed entirely. Bullock is the luckiest man alive. So from the ruins of this old building, Damian Wayne activated, and he ran out his 11 inches, more than enough to cover where he ended up, to go after Scarecrow with his combo katanas, double stun, because he's in a Batman crew, he's just not allowed to hurt people. Well, he's allowed to hurt people, he's not allowed to kill people. He efforted twice, Scarecrow did not. You can already see the writing is on the wall for poor Scarecrow. He did 10 damage with his combo katanas, and also scored a quick cheeky 1 point for They Won't See Me Coming, because Scarecrow couldn't see him, because he was amongst here. He would have seen Batman if Batman activated. Actually, no, maybe not, because I think this one has Master of Stealth. Can't remember. Either way, it doesn't matter, because Damon did the job, and then he's using his special action and arresting Scarecrow. So unfortunately, the Fear Master, all he got to do was almost petrify a detective to death, and now he's gone. The Militia Lieutenant activated without Audacity, but close enough to the Arkham Knight, who didn't move or do anything in his turn, have a free Inspire. He walked up, he removed his own team's suspect marker that had been placed by the medic to turn it into a turn 1 viable commodities. So he is now safely holding on to the loot with his camo vest, and he'll just be holding on to that, hopefully for the rest of the game, to score those 3 points. Gotham by Gaslight, Batman activated, and he does indeed have stealth. Not Master of Stealth, just stealth. Infiltrate Op has Master of Stealth, as silly as that is. He used his special action to use his back claw to shoot over the building edge here, and then flip down all the way into there with cover and just outside of 4 of that light as well. He threw his single blood throwing knives at the medic, but you'll notice that there is stun damage there. That's because he was scoring a non-lethal ammo, and he went after the medic because the medic would just heal the lieutenant if he went after him. From up on her sniper perch, the infiltrate op activated and fired at Bullock. Got full damage through with her assault red. Well, the assault didn't matter because she didn't move, but red dot, single blood, assault rifle, which is 5 blood, and Bullock has 6 HP, so he actually lived. For her special action, she made use of hacking to move that suspect marker into base to base with the militia with the shield, just in case he decides to reveal it next turn. So second last activation in this turn for the Batman crew, technically, because he ain't doing anything, was Catwoman. She moves 13 inches in total, more than enough. She stopped roughly here to put down a suspect marker, which became a cat marker, but then as a special action she used stealthy cats. So every cat marker within 4 of her she can move 4 inches, I believe, and then if it ends within 4 of her, she gets to move a free 2, I think. Did I cover that correctly? Let's read it actually. Move each friendly cat marker in play up to 4 inches. So actually we don't need to be near her. She can just move all of them 4 inches. For each marker that ends its movement within 4 of her, she gets 2 free inches of movement, which is presumably on top of any move she's already done. That might be wrong, but she used that to shuffle. If it is wrong, she does also have sneaking, so at the end of the turn she could sneak around the corner even more so. Last activation of the turn for Soldiers of Fortune was the Dreadnought Op within distance for his free inspired manipulate as well as having audacity. He moved into base to base with Bullock to kill him with his blood stun tomahawk's devastating handy. Bullock efforted twice because that's all he could spare because of his blood damage. The Dreadnought Op did the same. Didn't do too well with the rolls, and the defense roll was okay. 2 hits still got through though for 2 blood. 1 blood was more than enough, or exactly enough I should say. And Bullock is removed. But he did okay. He managed to survive 2 people shooting at him, which is pretty impressive. So no cards scored on that either, and as previously stated, the last activation for the Batman crew can't do anything, so the detective is just activating and non-activating, so that takes us to the end of the round. The snitch scores, the viable commodity stays in play, so we'll just back in a second to see if there's any phase 4s. So at the end of battle round 1, just to officially wrap things up for the first round, there is no phase 4 cards being played, the snitch has scored, viable commodity stays in play, and Damien, the medic militiaman, and the Dreadnought Op are all healing 1 of their 2 stun that they all had as well. So with that, we are jumping into battle round 2. So here's as things stand at the top of round 2. No phase 1 or phase 2 cards being played in this turn either, but we can see who has audacity. The Arkham Knight does, Gotham by Gaslight, Batman does of course, Damien does, the Detective does, and Catwoman does for the Batman crew. Dreadnought Op, Infiltrate Op up there, and the Militia with the shield has that there. And that covers it because there's no cards being played, and it is the Batman crew who get first activation this turn. Both crews lost a model in turn 1 as well, so still no passes. So Batman got the second round started for the Batman crew. From where he was standing, he threw more throwing knives, which is quite hard to say, into the medic, and once again all the damage is being converted to stun because of the other non-lethal ammo being drawn, so that's both of them gone now. Another 2 points in the bag converts all blood damage to stun. He then ran from where he was standing. He's fast, he ran 10 inches up over there so that he can provide an inspire bubble a bit closer to where the action is likely to be this turn. First up for the Soldiers of Fortune was the militia member with the shield. Suffered impaired movement to hop the wall there towards the centre, where you might notice there is now an event marker. That is because during his turn, free for all was played. You don't actually put down a marker for it, but this is just for marking the middle of the map. Have more friendly models than any models not knocked out within 4 of the centre of the gaming area at the end of the round. So we'll see how that stands when we actually get to the end of the round, but at least he's making an effort. Alfred was the next activated for the Batman crew, but I did forget to mention before hopping the fence over there, the militiaman with the shield does have a backpack, so he can do a free remove on an enemy suspect marker. He did so and removed the one that got hacked into base to base with him in turn 1. So anyway, Alfred over here, he just shifted to the side without audacity. He used the radio he was given though to put down another suspect marker, and that has also become the second of potentially 3 snitches in the game, so it's in play. Infiltrate Op activated and did stay where she has been, but did quite a bit with her turn. She put down a suspect marker right next to her because remember she deployed via hidden, so she was out of deployment safely, and that met the criteria thanks to Catwoman being down below her. Oh, we'll have to back up here for Black Ops scoring for putting a suspect marker down and being within 8 but not being able to draw line of sight either, which is true, so that's scored for 2. She then used a special action to do hacking and moved 2 friendly suspect markers, the one she placed 4 inches that way, and the one down here 4 inches that way, which seems to be allowed, because technically I think that's now within 2 of the deployment, or they both are really, but it seems to be allowed. Merkel activated next for the Batman crew, and as a resource played Confusion for 2 points. I forgot to mention, but Gotham by Gaslight Batman gives you 1 more resource point, so they have 4 to play with it per turn. During a friendly model's activation, move another friendly model 3 inches. Alfred was moved 3 inches to the right to try and give him a little bit of cover in case Infiltrate Op activates before him in the next turn and decides to shoot him, because he only has 5 HP. I think her maximum payout is 5, so she totally could kill him if she gets a perfect hit. Either way, Merkel didn't have audacity, so all he did was shoot his medium range shotgun, double stun into Dreadnought Ob. Dreadnought Ob has light armor. 1 hit got through, all said and done, for 2 stun. The militia medic started within 8 inches of the Arkham Knight, so it had a free inspire, suffered impaired movement to hop the wall, moved into base to base with that sewer grating there, more importantly within 4 inches of the centre, and used that free inspired manipulate to put down a suspect marker. The Boy Wonder Damian Wayne activated. He rushed in after the medic, who couldn't effort because he was 1 stun away from unconsciousness. A little bit of overkill. Damian got him for 8. He wanted at least 6 though, because he wanted to score They Must Know Pain for inflicting at least 6 damage. It's only 1 point, but hey, it scored. Knocked him out, however, he did not arrest him. Probably for certain cunning plans that got drawn upon this being able to be played. We will see how things pan out. Dreadnought Op activated. He also suffered impaired movement to hop the fence. He was going after Damian. Didn't effort though because of his accumulating stun. He only has 5 willpower. So does Damian for that matter, so he also did not do anything. So it was just straight up attack rolls, although he did activate Devastating Blow, but no crits. 2 hits through, all said and done. Damian did well with his defense roll, so 2 blood, 2 stun. That puts him at 2 blood, 3 stun in total when he's a 5/5 miniature, so he is still alive. But now the Soldiers of Fortune do currently have majority for the centre. The GCPD detective activated second last, because there's still Catwoman to go. 10-inch movement. He ran over here, and he finally gets to do something now that Scarecrow isn't there to harass him. He arrested the medic and scored a get them off the streets for a massive 3 victory points. The Batman crew's running away with it a little bit, just getting the right cards, and the Soldiers of Fortune are not. Let's put it that way. Although he probably is within 4 inches of that, so it's currently a draw there, I think. The Militia Lieutenant activated. Within Inspire range of the Arkham Knight still, he put down a suspect marker, which is outside of 4 of that one, just barely. Then he ran his 8 inches away bravely, because of course he is holding the valuable commodities loot, so he is worth 3 victory points. So last activation for the Batman crew, and very annoying to get an angle on. Catwoman was of course on the other side of this building here. Massive movement. She came round here into enemy deployment and has put down another suspect marker, which has become a cat marker, and didn't do anything else. Didn't opt to move them, and she isn't going to sneak either. So now it's over to the Arkham Knight to end off the second battle round. So Jason's had quite enough of this, activated his grapple gun and shot into the giant melee that's going to happen in the bike yard now. He went after the Wayne child with his reinforced gloves because he brought his cybernetic upgrade, and did 8 stun to him, knocking Damian on the floor easily, and scored more than enough required to score there. They Must Know Pain, because he did at least 6 damage for 1 victory point. So with that, we are at the end of the round. So at the end of battle round 2, Damian has not woken up, so he is not getting a turn in the next activation and might get picked on while he's on the floor. The Dreadnought Op has healed 1 stun. I believe that was the only other person with stun damage. The Snitch has scored for the Batman crew, but Free For All has scored for the Soldiers of Fortune. 3 models that are conscious versus 1 that is not. One that is, but 1 that isn't. So the Damian doesn't count towards the tally anymore. So that has also scored for 2. No Phase 4 cards being played by either side, thanks to those cat markers. It's kind of ruining the Soldiers of Fortune's plans. Start of the penultimate round, and it will be the Soldiers of Fortune taking first activation this turn. There's 1 Phase 2 card being played, but it's being played to get rid of. It's Unveiling the Truth for the Batman crew. It's being played on the JCPD detective. It has no chance of scoring, but it's just to get out the hand. So it's on him. If he puts down a suspect marker, you put markers on that card, If at any point there's more markers on that card than there are enemy suspect markers, it will score. That's not going to happen. And the loot is still in play on the Lieutenant. So it was the Lieutenant who got the penultimate round started without Audacity, but close enough to Arkham Knight still that he's getting that free Inspire, which he used after moving his 8 inches to put down a suspect marker there, which is outside of 4 of all the others, but within 8 of Alfred over there that can't draw a line of sight to either of them, meeting the criteria for the only other Black Ops in the deck for 2 more victory points. Officer Merkel activated first for the Batman crew, which was perhaps a little bit of an odd choice, with Audacity this turn as well for a change. He moved his 8 inches or 10, however much he moves, to that corner over there, and you might see the 3 next to him. That's because Wait for Backup was played. You can do it during an activation of anyone with the Cop trait, which he has. D6 plus 1, rolled a 2, so it became a 3. If, when that hits 0 and it counts down after every subsequent model's activation, he's within 4 of that board edge and still conscious, this scores for 2. Infiltrate Op activated and fell off the building on purpose, walked to the edge, fell off. The building's 6 inches high, she's got 10 inch movement, so because her movement range exceeds the height of the building, she actually doesn't take any damage. Moved her there, she then used hacking to draw in 2 suspect markers, one that was over there, one that was over there. With hacking, the one that was on the left side there next to Alfred was moved into the park here where the big fight is happening. The other one moved into base to base with her. She removed it and also put into play Global Offensive. Have more friendly models with the veteran trait in play than there are enemy suspect markers. I believe there's 5 models. I think, well no, is it 4? Let's see. Yeah, it is 5. Everyone except the Arkham Knight has veteran, so it's 5 currently. I'm not sure how many suspect markers Batman crew still has. 1, 2 cats. I think that's it. I think there are 3. It's in play till the end of the round though, so there is still time to stop it. Gotham by Gaslight Batman activated, ran into the bike shed / park, whatever this is, into base to base with Jason and attacked him. They both efforted 3 full times. He also activated Bonebreaker as his special action, so for his crit roll, which he also gets on a 5 or a 6, he does bleed 2, which is exactly what happened. Jason did really, really well with his 4 defense rolls. This Batman's only attack 4 as well. So only the strength die got through for... Oh, why is it... No, sorry, the strength die got through for 2 stun with reinforced gloves. I was like, hang on, why is there 4 damage? Bonebreaker did the other 2, and it's blood damage, not stun. So Jason's still conscious. He's got 2 stun damage left, I believe, and he's taking a little bit of blood. So it just got real messy up in here. Jason activated the Arkham Knight. He used Vanish for a special action, so he's placed within 4 inches, so it does not count as him moving for the purposes of firing his gun either. He drops a free EM smoke grenade where he is. The effects of it don't touch him or affect him in any way, which presumably means he can see through the smoke, although he has a scope anyway. But either way, presumably that means he can see, because otherwise why would you do it? It hits everyone around there for 1 stun. Damien takes 1 blood because he's unconscious as well. And then he just shot Batman, and this Batman doesn't have bat armor. So that was 9 damage because every hit got through against his defense 4. Batman is gone. Jason got his revenge, and also in doing so scored his unique card. This ends tonight, because he is obviously within 8 inches of himself, and the enemy boss has been removed. So that's 3 points in the bag. He did good work. So seeing Batman get taken out reminded the detective what it was like to be scared, so he revealed the suspect marker that was right next to him, and then hopped the wall and ended his turn in base to base with that one. For revealing the suspect marker, he scored a comb through everything. Simple as that. And now it's over to who's left for the Soldiers of Fortune. Oh, the 2 people in the middle. Oh, sorry, it is also worth stating that with the ending of that activation, Merkel's safety is guaranteed, and Wait for Backup has scored. So of those 2, the militia with the shield activated came over here and revealed the suspect marker that got moved there by Infiltrate Op. Didn't do anything else with his turn. Alfred had little choice without Audacity and now no radio or person on the other end of the radio to give him instructions. He just retreated. He retreated back a little bit because he didn't want to face down everything in that direction. Last activation for the Soldiers of Fortune in the penultimate round was the Dreadnought Op. Didn't bother putting the markers down. Look, he attacked Damian Wayne. There was a slaughter. He is a very dead, so he's been removed. The Wayne Child is dead. He also used his free Inspire from the Arkham Knight being there to put down a suspect marker, though. Just realised though it will have to be on this side because of that one over there. Last activation for the turn was Catwoman. She just peeled round. Oh,
Bad place to get an angle again. She put down a suspect marker, did not make it a cat marker this time because it is optional. Opted instead to make it the snitch. Because it's the end of the turn, we're just going to cover this now, I guess. And obviously the snitch just scores, although we'll see if there's any phase 4 cards now. So at the end of the penultimate round, there's no wake up checks or anything like that to do. There's some healing of stun damage, and we already covered that the snitch automatically scored. The unveiling the truth stays in play, although it's not going to score. There's one phase 4 card being played that's burned a hole in the Soldiers of Fortune's pocket for quite some time. They finally have more suspect markers in play than the Batman crew. Scored that for 2, and on that note, because of how many people are still alive with the veteran trait, that global offensive has also scored. And as we go into the final round, viable commodities is still in play on the Lieutenant. And the new leader of the Batman crew will be Catwoman. Top of round 4, and it's easy to cover who has Audacity for the Batman/Catwoman crew, because there's only 4 of them left, so obviously they all do. For the Soldiers of Fortune, it's everyone except the Lieutenant, who's just going to be holding on to that loot and running, I think. There is no additional cards being played, but it is the Batman crew taking first activation. The JCPD detective activated. He revealed the suspect marker that he stopped his last turn in base-to-base with to score another Unveiling the Truth, so he did pretty well after a lackluster first turn, and then he retreated down here because there is nothing else for him to do. The mercenary lieutenant hopped the wall into the centre of the map, and you might notice that marker is back roughly because it's not going to matter, they're definitely going to score this. Free for all was put into play, so that's worth 2 if the Soldiers of Fortune have more models in the centre at the end of the game. So unfortunately there isn't really anything the Batman crew survivors can do to score cards, so it's just about denying potential card scores to the Soldiers of Fortune. So Alfred activated to get out of line of sight to infiltrate up. He walked over here, he manipulated the sewer grating, and is teleported all the way over to here near Catwoman for protection. There also isn't too much for the Soldiers of Fortune to do, but they're still feeling like they're maybe playing catch up. The Merc with the shield activated, put down the suspect marker, stayed where he was, but also put into play during his turn another global offensive, which again is exceptionally likely to score. Merkel ran round the back of the building here, which is exceptionally hard to get line of sight on, just so he's out of line of sight, speaking of infiltrate op. Actually, I think she doesn't have any ammo left. Either way, he hid because there's nothing else for him to do. So looking at the board state, although Arkham Knight and the Dreadnought op still need to activate along with infiltrate op, they can't really do much else to score either, except guarantee the holding the centre, which they obviously can do just by sheer numbers alone that can get over to it at this point, because only Catwoman hasn't activated for the Batman crew. So we are just going to call the final round there, and as far as extra cards that you haven't seen be played yet already, they will score another stick to the plan. So that's 2 more in the bag, along with them holding the centre for the free-for-all for another 2, and global offensive for more veterans being alive than enemy suspect markers. Because if Arkham Knight put one down, infiltrate op, Dreadnought op, they'd all outnumber Catwoman doing the same. So here we are at the end of a very interesting match. I was sure the Batman crew was just going to run away with it until the start of turn 3 when things went awry, I think. But let's see how the final scores are. 2, 5, 6, 7... Oh, forgot to mention, but obviously Unveiling the Truth didn't score. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23... 24, 25, 26, 27. Very respectable. 27 for the Batman crew. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. The Batman crew, despite losing Batman and basically just running for their lives in the final turn, have actually won by a single victory point. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. I forgot to cover. Oh dear. I forgot to cover valuable commodities. I just saw it sitting on the edge of a table there, which obviously scored because the lieutenant is alive and holding it. So they actually won by 2 points. My bad, never mind. Well, it's not like Batman's alive to think he's won and then be told he didn't. So actually that was a Soldiers of Fortune win thanks to that valuable commodities, giving them a 2-point lead in what was a pretty brutal match, which was quite fun. I sincerely hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you very much for doing so. Come back for more Batman in the future. And until then, ta-ta for now.